How mobile technology assists in thermal reduction. Greeting. I am Dror Levy, Chief Scientist of Bodyworld USA. Today, I wish to shed light on how mobile technology aids in diminishing the thermal effect when using a cell phone. I aim to present this in a user-friendly way, eliminating dense scientific terms for clearer understanding. For those desiring more comprehensive view, our detailed study is available for you for your review, obviously online. Let's begin with some contents. The average internal temperature of a healthy human being hover around 37, which is about 98.6 Fahrenheit, and it's noteworthy to mention that the mere increase of 1 degree to 38 degrees categorized as fever. In other words, there is only 1 degree between a healthy human being and a sick human being. Moreover, the body temperature of 42 degrees become lethal. This means a delicate balance of merely 5 degrees separate the normal state from life-threatening conditions. So, in other words, sometimes when we talk about the effect of the heating, and obviously we're gonna a little bit elaborate on it next. It seems that we talk about 1 degree or 2 degree or whatever, but people don't realize how 1 degree is really the difference between a sick person and a healthy person. And a 5 degree, that's the whole range between when you're sick and when you actually have a life-threatening situation when system collapse. So obviously in between, all headaches and everything else is actually come in between. The technology at Bodyworld has been validated to decrease SAR. This is the test that we did in an accredited lab, and it showed that the technology we have reduced the thermal heat, which caused by radiation, because there is other element of it which is also can cause some harmful effect, but we talk right now more, we specifically talking about the radiation itself. This might attribute to the diminishing thermal effect, especially when considering the cell phone operate using microwave, the same ones through the vastly lower power that warm your meal. Sometimes you may notice that the interior of the microwave food feeling hotter than its surface. This phenomenon is attributed to the denser, more liquid-centric interior. So in other words, usually when you heat food in the microwave, you will pay attention that sometimes the inside is hotter than the outside. The reason is that microwave working by friction of the molecule, and liquid is much more denser, and therefore if there is more water or liquid more moist inside, it's going to heat it more than the outside. So we're using that as a parallel. So we understand our brain and our head is comprised of approximately 77% liquid. In other words, our brain, the outer, which is the bone and the skull and all that stuff, it's less dense from a microwave perspective than the inside, which is more liquid. And therefore, if we measure the temperature on the surface, we can assume that the inside actually is hotter. So that's pretty much what we're trying. Hinting that radiation-induced thermal heat on the skin exterior might even be more intense within the head. So that's what we talk about. A critical piece of the research done by Dr. Nashad is a PhD doctor that actually explained, and you're going to be available to see the whole work that he done if you would like, and he's from the Research Institute of Belmont Health System in Royal Oak, Michigan, USA. So this doctor is a very known, did some other articles and about that, and what we actually did, he insists we're going to go to a third party, what we call the thermographic institute that actually doing this IR and all that photographics that can sense the heat, so we can analyze it. So in other words, he did the work to explain everything, but it's actually done in third party, like a lab that did with their own system, which they do. So this is executed in Green Health thermographic gave us empirical insight. So we actually did the actual experiments. It was done according to to all the requirements, and we did it in actual people. So we allow them to speak for 45 minutes, and then we measure the heat. And again, all the details, we're trying to make it very short. So all the details is actually in the study itself, if you would like. The study recording the mobile phone influenced skin temperature. Evidently, area directly exposed to the active mobile exhibit elevated temperature. Interestingly, integrating the Bodywell chip with the mobile mitigate those thermal effects to contrast the standalone mobile use. In other words, when we did it with the phone, it was actually show a different temperature, which we're going to detail soon, compared to the same phone with just when we put about mobile chip on it. So to break it down, the baseline skin temperature stood on 35. Just from the scientific elements, we just measured it, and it was 35 with just the mobile. Where was an upsurge of 2.04 Celsius degrees, right? So it was 2 degrees more when they talk with the phone. Impressively, with the Bodywell chip integrated, the surge was halved to a mere 1.01 Celsius. In other words, the difference, between with the phone or with the chip or without the chip was a 1 degree. And again, people thinking, 1 degree is not a lot. Don't forget, what's that 1 degree represent, and we're gonna talk about it. So, although the highlight of the snapshot, the border study, multiple dimension of the research endorse those outcomes. The holistic takeaway: mobile phone can indeed trigger noticeable skin temperature escalations. In other words, it says, there is other elements of it that show, again, we try to make it simplified so you understand the point that we're trying to make, and then if you want, you can go to the study and see the whole thing. Mobile phone can indeed trigger noticeable skin temperature escalations, which might have profound health repercussions, especially among the younger demographics. So when we talk about kids, especially, that's even word, because with kids is almost 5 times fold because their head is much smaller, and so in comparable, that's what happened. When we talk about SAR in general, we talk about kilogram to the radiation value to 1 kilogram of body. So obviously, kids are much smaller, so that's give them a much more, like we said, it's about 5 times more. So we talk about the Bodywell chip seems to effectively curb the mobile-induced thermal impacts on the human tissue. So what's the bottom line for you? So what it actually mean? And again, this is the research that you see. It's actually tell exactly how we did it, with all the scientific requirements. And it's detailed exactly. You have exactly each one of the experiments and the time and everything else. And again, this is the thermal, this is the green health demography. This is actually the facilities that specialize in to do this scan, and the numbers we're going to talk about right now is shown here in the end in that table, which we're going to explain as follows. So considering the slim margin safeguard of our body thermal health, right? So again, we're talking about 1 degree that basically is between a healthy person to a sick person. So that's when we talk about slim margin. The Bodywell mobile technology, with its impressive heat reduction capacity, emerged as a protective shield with heat reduction potential of 1.03. So in other words, the effect of the Bodywell was 1.03 degree, representing 100% offset between normalcy and fever. So in other words, if you are 37 or you're healthy, and let's say it's affect you in a certain way, and it's increasing your heat, the Bodywell can decrease it from a sick to a healthy. So that's the first thing, right? So that's 100%. And fever, and 20% between fever and perilous condition. In other words, life-threatening conditions. So this is 1% represents 20% of that range. That's why we need to put it in context. This is like the 1 degree is a lot. It not sounds like people think, microwave is 800 watt and the phone is just 1.6 watt or something like that. And they forget that we don't talk, in order to a person to feel not good, forget about, other elements that we could talk in that's more serious, but just not good, not sleeping, like when you have a fever and you're sick, with how you feel, it's headache, it's nausea, it's a lot of things that you feel, and this is not require a lot. So this is require a very tiny difference. And this is where, Mobiltech stand in the frontline defense against thermal risk, potentially enhancing your overall well-being. Thank you. I appreciate it. And we talk about the next subject soon.